We have Mr. Joseph Gregory. Joseph, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, so how's everyone doing tonight? I'm Joseph. I work for NTT Data as the head of people. So NTT Data is a large global consulting company, actually the fifth largest in the world. So we work with Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG, McKinsey. Those are the type of consulting peers that we have. And some of our larger clients or sectors: banking industry, utilities, insurance. I think two of our kind of really cool large clients are United Nations and World Bank. So we work with all sorts of cultures, countries, languages, and certainly a big part of the employees we hire and develop and pay really, really good are data scientists and analytics. So we have a whole department that is digital technology, and so we hire a lot of really great but hard to find talent. So I'm excited, with Colaberry, because we need more of you guys. I'm just saying, the industry, I mean, we need more and more talent. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, and yeah, that's me.
All right, awesome.
And by the way, head of people, that's human resources. So we call ourselves people. We try to be a little bit more friendly, but yeah. So just in case so it's HR, recruiting, but we call ourselves people.
All right, fantastic. Joseph.
Yeah, so I love the presentation. I thought the data and charts you provided were very logical, very clean. I liked how you kind of broke down the different demographics. The only problem is you left me wanting more. So a couple of questions, and maybe you have this data, maybe you don't, but I'm curious about like the profitability. Do you have like any figures on what is the cost of churn, like per client? Is a younger client versus an older one? Is the revenue figures a little different? And further, what would happen if you were able to reduce, churn by 1%, 2%, tying that actually back to money and figures? That really catches the attention usually of management, is when they can actually see like, oh, wow, 1% equals $2 million, or whatever the case is. The other, I think thing that would be helpful is if you had any benchmarks. I mean, we see the data, and is this good or bad? Like our competitors, what is the normal churn in the industry? Again, just so it's kind of a benchmark, a starting point. We always want to get better, but I think context is always helpful when you're kind of given the data. But yeah, I mean, I thought everything that you presented was great. I just wanted, more.
All right. Wonderful feedback. Good job, Shiny. Awesome presentation. All right, we're going to keep it moving. We're moving on to our next contestant, Adib. Adib is going to be yours as soon as I stop playing the music. All right, Joseph?
Yeah, so again, I love the data. I love all the charts. It's like almost too much. Like I get excited. I don't know where to, what to look at. But I like the fact that we can break it down however we want to kind of look at the different, data that you capture. That's great. My maybe kind of follow-up question feedback is, under the suggestions, it seemed like you had some great suggestions, but I wasn't clear. Was that primarily aimed at like the FAA, federal agencies? Was this towards Boeing, towards Airbus? Was it kind of like all of the above? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So and you're right. There's, I think, multiple ways to, approach, reducing, the accidents or fatalities. But one thing I think would be helpful, especially for the airlines or Boeing, Airbus, is to maybe do a little bit more of a cost or risk analysis. So you talked a lot about the training and all of these things that costs a lot of money. That being said, when things go wrong, what is the cost? Not just, and you talked a little bit about the lawsuits, which is great, but what about, losing customers? What about the reputational risk? So sometimes, again, trying to draw in, some dollar amounts, You can list your assumptions, hopefully get some data on that. But, basically, just kind of be kind of clear about what the, not the benefit, but in reducing the risk. This is their risk if they kind of don't, look into some of these solutions. So again, I think that, executives, they take, big note. It's like, cybersecurity, everyone's investing in that. And, because they know the risk if something bad happens is so huge, they're investing. And it's the same with airlines and training and all of those things. So to the extent you can kind of tie that back into some dollars, that would be awesome.
We'll apply that suggestion further on.
All right, excellent. All right, we're gonna start with you, Joseph.
Yeah, no, again, really interesting presentation. I liked, how you had, just kind of showed the methodology on how you kind of came up with the data and how you just created the data sets and were able to, kind of generate the information that you presented. The only thing I was thinking, and I don't know if it was possible with the data, were you able to, get any type of like data on the pipeline owners? Like, is there any correlation between like a smaller company versus a larger company? Maybe in terms of investing to maintain the pipelines. I'm just kind of curious, like with the accidents, are there like some, repeat bad actors, or is it, kind of dispersed among the industry? But yeah, I mean, that would be my only comments.
All right, Joseph, what's your overall feedback?
Yeah, no, so kind of two main things. First, to piggyback off the whole soft skill and communication skills, I think it's true to a certain extent, when it comes to data analytics and data scientists, the expectation is kind of on the low end in terms of communication, and these guys are just technical and a little maybe geeky. What I will say though is that you separate yourself from a lot of other candidates with those communication and soft skills, because that's not oftentimes expected, or especially when you are at, kind of that mid-level, junior level, when you're kind of just getting into the field, that expectation for good communication isn't, necessarily there. So when you actually are a good communicator and you've worked on that, that helps you in the interviews and separates you from other candidates. So it's true, but that's a credit to this program. And, I will say that the higher you go, the more promotions you get, that communication is going to help you. So, in addition to the technical, you have to be technical, you have to know your data, but when you combine that with the communication, that is what is going to elevate your career. So I'm, really happy to kind of see the communication. The other point, I love the passion, I love the energy, and to reiterate, I mean, this is a great example where everyone is capable of learning a new skill set, new knowledge, if they have the motivation, the passion, the energy. And for example, when we're hiring as a company, we look for those hard skills and whatnot, but we also look for kind of like that raw material, team player, motivated. Are they passionate about whatever they do? It doesn't matter what they do, but are they passionate about it? I can work with that. We can work with that. We can always give you more experience, more skills. So again, that's what was coming through, that all three of these presentations, you were passionate, you knew your data, you were excited to present your data, and that came through. So I would say keep that up. Keep the training, the technical skills. Technology is, changing crazy fast. So, that's going to be kind of a lifelong, keeping up with the technology. But that energy and that willingness to, get into the technology and keep learning, that passion, that comes through. So that's what caught my attention. I loved it.
All right, awesome.